Is my face breaking out? I don't know. What's going on there, YouTube? CJ back at you with another video, and in this one is kind of a follow-up from my last one. About a month ago, I did a how to choose a mod or device for vaping, and this time we're going to go over, that's right, the other part of the equation, how to choose an atomizer. So let's get to it. Gosh, my face is all red. Breaking out. Anyway. Alrighty, so how to choose an atomizer. You're going to need some coffee maybe or something, I don't know. Maybe a drink. This might run a little long, kind of like the how to choose a mod or device did. So, atomizers. I actually did a video. I'll post a couple links to these videos that I mentioned here. I did a video about how to choose a mod, and I did a video also explaining the differences between like an RBA, an RTA, an RDTA, a sub-ohm tank, blah blah blah. So today, though, what I'm going to talk about is like kind of like a pros and cons of each, so you can maybe make a better decision about what atomizer to use. If you haven't used one of these types before, maybe it'll spark something in you. Or maybe just different things to consider, maybe you hadn't thought about. So anyway, let's get into it. So first, I'll start with an RDA. Okay, they're very, very popular. They're very small. This is the Recoil by Grim Green. I mean, all RDAs, rebuildable dripping atomizer. You're gonna have to put some coils in there. Whether you wrap your own coils or you buy them pre-made, but you're going to have to install them. You're going to have to, get them glowing nice if it's like a Kanthal nichrome stainless steel build. You do not glow titanium or nickel, but you're going to have to put the coils in. You're going to have to get the wicking right, and then you drip your juice. You can either pull the top cap off and drip it, or you can actually just drip right through the drip tip. That's why they call it a drip tip. They also make the thing like the easy dripper that you can drip in there, but you're going to have to carry juice with you is kind of the point. You're going to have to build on it, you're going to have to wick it, you're going to have to carry juice with you. So those might be all cons to you. I know for me they are. Like I don't like carrying a bottle of juice with me. I don't like having to drip every time, or keep taking tokes on it until you get a dry hit and you got to drip it again. Or the other side of that, which is what I do, is over drip. Meaning you drip it, you vape, and go, okay, well, it's been a while, let me drip it again, and it's still plenty wet, and then you end up getting juice everywhere. So these are all cons for me for RDAs. Now, the flavor is very, very good. You probably get the best flavor out of any atomizers with RDAs, because they're so small, and the coils are right there, and they don't have far to go, and blah blah, and all the things and stuff and whatnot. So that's an RDA. So if you're looking for flavor, great. If you're into like building and wicking and all that kind of stuff, you don't mind carrying juice around with you, yeah, alright, great. RDAs are right up your alley. That's what you want to go for. So let's say you don't want to do that. Or maybe you like building and wicking and all that kind of stuff, but you don't want to be bothered with carrying juice around and all that kind of stuff. Well, then you can do basically like an RTA, a rebuildable tank atomizer. This is the Griffin 25 Mini. Video going to be coming up soon for that. And basically, if I unscrew this bottom here, you get the same kind of deck, so you still have to build coils and whatnot on it. But now you have a tank. So you have an enclosed tank where it carries some juice around. You still have to get the wicking right and all that kind of jazz. But it's a lot less mess. You don't have to carry juice with you. The flavor is not going to be quite as good as an RDA, although some of these RTAs, like these shorter ones like this, the flavor is pretty close. So yeah, so you can fill it up and run your day. Now you still run into the same problems. You still have to build it. You still have to get the wicking just right on it, which on an RDA you can just throw wicks in and it'll pretty much work. With this, you have to be a little more particular with the wicking. Not too much, not too little. Find that happy medium spot for you. And also airflow won't be as good on most of these as it is on RDA. Most RDAs have tons and tons of airflow. RTAs, you're going to be somewhat limited in the amount of airflow, but you get the convenience of carrying juice around with you. So that's an RTA. Oh God, I'm already, I don't know, mouth getting dry or something. So then the question might be, well, I like the flavor of an RDA, but I kind of really want a tank. Is there anything else, anything else out there that can kind of satisfy that? And the answer is yes. That's where an RDTA, or a rebuildable dripping tank atomizer, comes into play, like the Avocado or the iJoy Limitless RDTA Plus, or the, there's a whole bunch of them out there. The V-God's got one out now. And basically what you have is, if I pull this off, you've got your, basically like an RDA build deck sitting on top of a tank, and the wicks just go down into the tank. So again, you get your flavor back. You still have to build. You still have to get the wicking. The wicking doesn't have to be as perfect as it does on an RTA. It's very much like an RDA in that respect, where you can kind of just throw wicks in, and as long as they fit down there and they get juice up there, it'll probably work. And you get to carry around a little bit of juice with you, so you still get very much the same flavor as an RDA, and you get to carry some juice around. And for me, especially this Avocado, all the Avocado 22 and Avocado 24, by far and away probably my favorite tanks, but they work very, very well. As long as you don't mind building on them, wicking on them, you get to carry juice around a little bit less mess. Also, let me back up a little bit with the RDA. If you put a bunch of juice in there and then you let your mod falls over, juice is getting everywhere. Obviously with this, if it falls over, chances are it's probably not going to leak. With an RDTA, if it falls over, it won't leak as fast. There is still a chance, depending on how you have it wicked and everything, and which one you have, there's a chance it might leak. I've knocked this 24 over when I had it wicked pretty tight and it didn't leak at all. Other times though, I've flipped it over on its side and it was wicking, it was a little bit looser, and it did leak a little bit. So that your mileage may vary on that. But if you're looking, again, flavor, want to carry juice, a little less mess, you don't have to worry about over dripping or dry hits. Basically, as long as there's juice in there, you're good to go. So RDTA, maybe that's up your alley. Gosh, love this Avocado. I mean, if you like flavor and you don't want the mess of an RDA, or try an RDTA, any of them. Now the iJoy Limitless one, I struggled getting the flavor good on that because the airflow was so big on it, but other people have had good success. So again, you just have to try different things. And this video is not really about specifically any particular, just the different types. So anyway, RDTA. So we did RDA, RTA, RDTA, and we still have a couple more. So maybe you don't want to build. Maybe you don't want to wrap coils, and you don't want to worry about wicking, and you don't want mess, and you don't want none of that stuff, and all what have you. Well, then maybe a sub-ohm tank, a tank that takes a coil. Maybe that would be more your style. And there's literally sub-ohm tanks pretty much rule the roost. I mean, they're probably the most popular style atomizer out there because they carry juice. When the coil's no good, you just unscrew it, you screw another one in, and you put juice in it, and you're good to go. You can tip them over typically, and they won't leak. There's all different variations of these sub-ohm tanks. And I actually have another one I'll show you here in a second, but the flavor is not going to be quite as good on this as you would get on an RDA, RTA, or on the RDTA. So you're going to lose some flavor compared to those, but you gain convenience. So again, there's give and take on all of these, and it just depends on you. What's more important to you is which one you'll go with. If you're like me, you'll probably have a little bit of everything. But anyway, let's get a toke on this sub-ohm tank. This is the Smock TFV8 Baby Beast. Again, good. It's good flavor. It's not like whoa, out of this world flavor. Like compared to this RDTA, the flavor on this is far better than this. This is probably the best flavor I've come across yet in a sub-ohm tank. But for just pure flavor, you're going to need to go with this or like an RDA. So we covered RDA, RTA, RDTA, and sub-ohm tank. Now that's the basics. That's the basics of what's out there and what's available as far as generally speaking about atomizers. But then when you start digging in even deeper into atomizers, you're going to find that there's other differences. So like I have this Svomesto K-Fun V5. I did a video for this. This is a much more restrictive lung hit. Lung hit. It's really from mouth to lungers, meaning you smoke it, or you vape it like you would smoke a cigarette. But the flavor on this is killer. I mean, probably as far as RTAs go, the best flavor you can find anywhere. But you're not going to get a ton of vapor. Still very good, but the flavor is very, very good. Reaching as high as like the RDTA or the RDA, but it's just still not quite there. Plus the vapor production itself is not there either. So so you have different, this RTA is going to produce very similar flavor. If this, on a scale of 1 to 10, if this is like a 6 or 7, this is like a 7 or 8. It's kind of like that kind of deal where they're pretty close, but this is going to produce a lot more vapor. So again, you have differences in each segment or category of atomizer as well. Two more things to hit real quick. One, sub-ohm tanks. Sub-ohm tanks, like I said, it's probably the largest category by far, and there's as many as you can think of. There's different variations, but I just want to show you these two. So this one, you have the coil here, you have airflow at the bottom. Basically the juice goes in through the side of the coil, and then as you take a draw, the vapor is produced inside of the coil, and you kind of draw it out when you inhale through. This is a new one by DigiFlavor. I did a first impressions. I'm still vaping these. I want to run them through their paces, but they're calling this like a Jenny style sub-ohm tank. So they're comparing this tank to this RDTA, in that the wick is in the center instead of airflow going through the center of the coil. The wick is in the center of the coil, and it wicks it up, and then your airflow goes in, down, it hits the sides, and then comes back up. So very much in design like an RDA, but uses a replaceable coil. So again, it's just another variation. And I think a lot of these manufacturers are all trying to do the same thing, and it's trying to get the most flavor and vapor they can. So they're trying all different styles and stuff. Now, of course, with August 8th, with the FDA regs, if you don't know about that, that's ridiculous if you don't. But if you don't know about what happened August 8th in the United States, basically the FDA has essentially stifled innovation within the United States, because we can't produce any new products. No new products can come on the market. That being said, the people, China's, who makes the majority of this stuff, they're going to keep on innovating. So, you're still going to see new stuff. You just may not be able to get it, which kind of sucks. But at any rate, this has been a pretty good tank. It's been a pretty good sub-ohm tank. The other benefit to having the airflow at the top and the way that this is designed is they're considering it leak-proof, because there's absolutely pretty much no way that the juice can come out, even if it falls over. So, whereas in this sub-ohm tank, because the juice wicks right through the coil and actually has access to the air hole or airflow, it can wick in and then fall down and then come out the airflow hole. On this one, it can only wick up so high. It's not going to wick up higher than these airflows, and even if it fell over, it still have it's got like a little maze it'd have to go through. So the leaking is pretty much non-existent. So If leaking is an issue, if you hate getting juice in your hands, which I really do, maybe a top airflow sub-ohm tank like this might be more your style. I haven't vaped this. Let's try, see if we can warm this coil up here. Definitely gonna need more power than that. What am I doing? Let's take her up. Here it comes. I think we need a little bit more. Yeah, so as you can see, they all vape. They all vape. They all do what they're supposed to do, and that is produce the vapors. It just depends on what it is you're looking for in an atomizer. You don't want any mess or anything, you're probably going to want a tank. If you don't want to mess with anything, you're probably going to want a sub-ohm tank where you just replace the coils. Now, once you decide, okay, the sub-ohm tank's for me, well, now you still have a litany of other options out there, with the different styles of sub-ohm tanks. If you decide you want an RTA, same thing. There's a litany of RTAs out there, so you have to decide what is best for you. Lastly, which I think I did this in the how to choose a mod or device video, is there's also devices that are all-in-ones. Okay, so this is a mod and an atomizer all-in-one. This is a billet box, which I'll do a video for this coming up soon. I've had this now in about a week or so I'm still kind of running through its paces. But this actually uses a sub-ohm coil, but you can also put a rebuildable, like an RTA. You can kind of do both in this, and it's all-in-one. You still do have maybe some issues with leaking potentially. I haven't had any issues yet, but you also get it all in a nice single compact unit. The downfall is you're stuck with this mod and you're stuck with this atomizer. You can't like swap out an atomizer. Like on this, I can choose what atomizer I put on there on this mod, or I can get a different mod and put a different atomizer. You can mix and match. With these all-in-ones, you can't really do that. You're kind of stuck with whatever, however they build it. This has been pretty good though so far. And again, it does what it's supposed to do and produces the vapors. So that's what I have for you. You have a bunch of different options. It just depends. There's pros and cons for each style of atomizer. It just depends on what it is that you're looking for and what you prefer, and how to get your vape. As you can see, I have a little bit of everything, and I think a lot of vapors have a little bit of everything because they want to try different things. And as as the evolution of vaping continues to move on, I'm sure that we're going to see even more evolutions and more styles like these Jenny style atomizers. This is a take on kind of like a remake of an old style of atomizer that didn't really work that well, and now that they're kind of reinventing them, they're working out much better. So I think we're going to see quite a bit of that happening in the near future. So I'm going to wrap this up, but I do want to just remind you that I'm on Twitter and I'm terrible there. I'm on Instagram and I'm terrible there. I'm on Facebook and I'm terrible there. I am trying to do better though. And I also did do a blog post finally on the Straight Vape on the website. I'm going to try to keep that up. Also, these fancy dancy t-shirts are available for sale. Portion of the proceeds are going towards either the Right to Be Smoke-Free Coalition, the lawsuit, or directly to AVA Greg Connolly. So get you one of these snazzy little shirts. Shipping to the U.S. is there. I did add the Philippines because someone requested it, and if you, anywhere else in the world, if you're looking for a shirt, you have to message me through, just contact me through the website, and I'll add your country in there. Shipping is going to go by whatever USPS says it's going to be to internationally get it to you. So anyway, with all that being said, let me wrap this up and just remind you, you keep your vape game strong, and I will see you in the next one.